Good morning. Thank you so much for joining. It is just about time for us to get started. So again, thank you so much for joining me today for today's webinar, Editing a Homework Assignment. Over the next 15 or so minutes, I'll be walking you through a brief overview of how to edit a homework assignment. If you happen to have any questions throughout my session, please feel free to put those in the Q&A box located at the bottom center of Zoom. I'll be sure to reserve some time at the end to address your questions. And with that, I will go ahead and get started and share my screen. And so I'm just here within the Teach account. So to begin customizing your homework, you'll want to go to the Assignments tab and then down to Curriculum. So just as a reminder, those lesson due dates are where you'll put in a due date next to any of the lessons that you want to assign to automatically assign those. But if you want to customize the questions on those lessons, you'll want to come right here to Curriculum. And so you can see right now, I don't have my own custom curriculum next to either of my sections. I just have that Hawks default curriculum, meaning that all those default questions that we here at Hawks Learning have already put into those lessons for you are assigned. To customize, you can click right on your section name to go into a blank curriculum template to get started. So first, go ahead and give that template a name. I will call mine Fall 2021 Master Curriculum. You can choose to go ahead and share that template with other instructors if you would like to. And then you have a few settings here that affect overall practice and certify for your students. So just to go over those briefly, one is the ability to allow your students to unsuccessfully attempt certify a number of times before requiring practice. So if you want your students to have the ability to go directly to certify without going through practice first, you can check this box and put in the number of times you want them to be able to attempt certify unsuccessfully before going back and being required to complete a certain percentage of practice, which again, you can specify right here. Another option is Flex Mastery. This allows students to retry a missed question with new values instead of receiving a strike. So again, while they're in Certify and working towards mastery there, if they get a question incorrect, you do have the option to give them another attempt at that question with new values before they receive that strike. That way, if they simply mistyped the answer, they have an opportunity to go ahead and show that they do indeed know how to complete that answer. So you can put in the number of additional attempts that you would like them to have. As best practice, we would recommend 1 or 2 questions. If you put in 2 additional attempts, that would mean that student tried that question overall 3 times. If they still cannot get that correct, it's likely that they do need to go over that concept. Along with that, we do also have our enhanced practice session. This is something that is still within beta, meaning that we are currently collecting data on it and half your class would be enrolled while the other half would not. But with our enhanced practice, this is a new algorithm based on historic data in our system where students, as they're working through practice, would be given lower level questions first. And with enhanced practice, our system would give them their next question based on how they've performed historically in the system and how they performed on that last question. So we are seeing some excellent results with this data so far, that students in enhanced practice are spending less time in Certify and certifying in fewer attempts. But again, this is still in beta, meaning we're collecting data and only half your class would be enrolled in this if you choose it. And with that, just a few other reminders. You can choose to update the mastery level next to each lesson. I'm happy with these settings now, so I'll go ahead and save those changes. Once you have that curriculum template saved, as you can see, all those lesson names just became blue text, meaning I can now click on any of these lessons to begin editing and choosing which questions I want on them. If I go ahead and click on 1.4 properties of radicals, that will now open up Lesson Builder for me to begin to customize the questions that are on this assignment. And so just one moment as it is loading for us, we will have the assignment that is already created on the right-hand side in the full question bank on the left-hand side. And so here you can see I have the option to remove any questions that I do not want on this assignment. Maybe you are only covering a few objectives overall from that lesson, so you want to go ahead and remove any questions. You can do that with that remove button there for you. On the left-hand side in that question bank, you can use our add button to go ahead and add any question you might be interested in, as well as you can check the boxes next to those questions to then go ahead and use our add button overall to add the multiple questions you have selected. Along with that, we also have the ability for you to click on those column headings such as occurrence and filter high to low the number of questions of that question type that are already on the assignment. Remember, we have multiple iterations for every question, so you can add a specific question more than once if you do really like that question, and new algorithmically chosen values will be in there for your students as they complete the assignment. You can also do the same with the difficulty to filter low to high or high to low, whatever you want to focus on for your students. As a reminder, all the questions do have the objective listed there for you as you're going ahead and choosing which questions you want to add to the lesson. And then along with that, if you want to navigate to any of the other lessons or chapters and add any questions in from a different lesson, maybe as a review question just to keep your students on their toes and making sure that they are remembering that content you've already gone over, or potentially if you would like to go ahead and put in a new question that's coming for them to see how they perform, you can always do that in the drop-down arrows right below that lesson, as well as going over to the chapter right here as well to go in between the chapters. You also can go right here to instructor created. If you have used our question builder to create any of your own questions or content, you can navigate to the questions you've created to add them to any lesson directly from instructor created as well. And then once you are happy with how your assignment is, you've added everything that you want to, you can go ahead and save those changes with that save button right here. And then again, you always have the option either within the question bank or in the assignment itself to look at new values, or to also look at the correct answer or hide the correct answer if you don't want to see it as well. Just a reminder that whatever changes you make here do affect both practice and certify for your students, so that they will be working on the same question types in practice, but then they will be completing within certify, again with new values chosen by our system. From here, you also can underneath that settings cogwheel, go and open Learn. And this will open up those Learn screens for you if you want to do any special customizing here as well. So if you've removed any questions, because again, you're not going over that content, at the top of every single Learn page, you have the ability to hide that Learn screen. You also can replace that screen with your own content that you type in within a Learn note to take over the page if you've selected that replace screen option. If you just want there to be a Learn screen note added, you don't need to select any of these options at the top. You would just go ahead and type in those extra notes, maybe a video link, maybe a note saying, pay attention to this topic, anything that you want to put in to customize, you can put right in there for that Learn screen note and save those changes. And that will appear as an extra note for your students on that Learn screen page within Learn mode. And so that is how you can go ahead and customize. Again, you need to do it for every single page. So make sure that if you make any changes, you save those changes before going on to that next page. And then again, hiding it if you are not going to cover that content, replacing it with your own information that you put in here, or just adding a note to your students. And with that, I will go ahead and see if there's any questions. That was the majority of what I wanted to go over with you all today. So let me go ahead and just see if there are any questions. I'll stop sharing for a moment. I don't currently see any questions. If you have any, feel free to go ahead and put those in the chat right now or in the question and answer area. Again, we do still have some time together today, so if you have any questions that you'd like to put within the question and answer box, go right ahead. All right, I do see one. And yes, the recording for this session will go out. Absolutely. All right, again, if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. And so again, let me just share my screen one more time here. If there's any other questions, again, once we've saved our changes, this opened up a new tab for us. So we can always go directly back to the other tab where we were in our curriculum to go ahead and continue editing. There will always be a date modified in the modified column if you do make any changes. So you'll be able to easily check if you already went ahead and customized that lesson, just as a reminder for you there. Any other questions? All right, if there are no other questions today, then I hope that this was helpful information for you all as you go through and prepare for the new term. Feel free to reach out to us through our phone support, our live chat option, or just getting in touch with your training and support representative if you need any assistance at all for setup. We are happy to help you as always. And thank you so much for joining today, and have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye.